Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to the tier list guide for the Japanese server launch of Artery Gear. So I wanted to make this video because there are a few questions from the main Discord. So this is the Artery Gear Discord regarding, what's a good character, what is best to reroll for. And if you haven't watched my previous video on the reroll guide, you should definitely check it out. So I talk about, the units I rerolled for and the reason behind them. However, I do want to make a separate video, so it's a tier list breakdown of the current notable units that I've had experience with on the CN server. And as you can see, currently I am progressing fine on my CN on the Japanese server. Create a new account, got all the reroll units I wanted with 1, 2, 3, 4 SSRs, and yeah, almost making my first 6-star and clearing all the story. But of course, everyone should be aware of what is good, so that when they do get a unit, they understand the positioning and the value of the unit. So let's start with the S tier units. First off, the game, the tier list is based off of two combined tier lists. One, this is from a Korean site, but actually it's from the original CN server launch tier list that someone made. And I did refer to this as well, and this is also combined with the new tier list that was updated in June of 2021. So it doesn't include Cream, the I would say arguably the best healer that came out later, but it's still somewhat relevant to us at the beginning. And of course, looking at some of the later boss clears and what units are used from there. So all in all, this is my own opinion on the tier list and my take. You don't have to agree, but this is from what I've seen from other lists, as well as my own experience from clearing content on the CN server. So without further ado, let's get to it. Right off the bat, you'll notice that a lot of the units on the S tier are either free or low star rarity. So first off, we have Alice. So Alice is, in my opinion, one of the most important unit in this game. I've said in a previous video why she is so important. The extra turn mechanic in this game is just so strong because it grants the extra turn and keeps the position on the action bar for the unit that you're boosting, so that unit essentially gets 2 turns and the attack buff from the push of Alice. So Alice is definitely my reroll target. It's going to allow me to cheese through a lot of the boss fights, and partially why I put her as the first unit on the S tier ranking. White Fox or Ginga is what I would recommend people to reroll for on the selective reroll, so the infinite rerolls. She is a single target boss slayer, and her debuffs is just gonna make bosses melt. Later on, as bosses gain more resistance and status immunity, she will fall off, but from early to mid and also early parts of the endgame content, she will clear everything for you. The third one on S tier is Sirius. So Cyrus or Sirius is, in my opinion, probably late game when everyone has max gears, the strongest single target unit. She gains elemental advantage and has built-in additional turns with defense down. So she, with her insane highest speed stat in the game, is going to just dish out a ton of damage because her damage also has scaling abilities with her speed. So I've seen crit attack based Cyrus, and also speed set, and they just pretty much kill the bosses. Sometimes at end game content it's going to kill bosses faster than Ginga, which I recommend people to reroll for, but it's going to take you a month or at least a few weeks to get there, and this is why I still recommend Ginga White Fox, because you can't get this unit from the selective rerolls, the infinite rerolls. So that's another kind of gatekeeper for you to get her. However, she will have a banner, a rate up banner coming up later, pretty early in the game, so you can pick her up then if you haven't. Next is Ashura. So Ashura on release was extremely hyped. She is, I still think, one of the strongest unit because she is very tanky. She has built-in defense down, and with a counter set, she's just a walking wall with a lot of damage output. But she didn't live up to expectations on release, because everyone's saying she was the SSS tier, but I think she's still very good, just not the one unit that clears all content as we originally thought she would. So she's currently 4th for me on the S tier. And then the next 2 units are pretty free. So Chihaya is literally a unit you can exchange from the event that's currently running for the next 2 weeks, and you can actually max rank up her, so you get all her critical boosts from obtaining multiple copies of her completely free for players, and just insane output damage. A poor man's version of Cyrus, pretty much, water-based instead of green, and no elemental advantage on your ulti attack. Next is a 3-star Roko. She excels because of her poison ability, and she also gets to extend the debuff applied, so pretty much she can just stack poison, and because poison is enemy HP based, you don't really need a good gear on her. You just need speed, you just need tankiness, and you can get Alice to boost her, and she has good synergy with Ginga, another debuff applier, so it's gonna let you clear a lot of the end game content even if you have poor gear. So yeah, she's definitely S tier in my opinion, even being a 3-star. So I'll go a bit faster for the remaining A, B, C, D tiers, just because I'm not gonna try to make this a 20-minute video. So this unit is she's got an AoE elemental advantage attack, but this is more PvP based, where she provides an S3 AoE defense down. Again, pretty much gear dependent. You want her to open, but A tier, good to have. Some people, after gearing her out, use her as her main farmer as well, so that's one of the options. Ruri is one of the best PvP cleavers. I would say until we get more options, she is the better one for PvP if we have all maxed out gear, just because she does so much damage and she gets extra attack in the kit, in her kit, to kill the enemy units. The cheaper version is Grace. Grace is a 3-star unit. Sorry, Ruri is a 4-star, and she's not included in the infinite reroll either. So you can see that the message behind this is that Bilibili Japan or Access has excluded a lot of the top tier units from the infinite rerolls, so you have to get them on banner and can just keep rerolling to get them. But Grace is a 3-star, and all 3 stars you can obtain from the infinite reroll, and she has built-in crit chance, so it's easy to gear her. So you can see that my Grace that I am running as my fodder lead, and actually probably the unit I'm gonna 6-star first. I already maxed her crit passive, which gives her 50% crit rate and resistance, and you can see her crit is already at 100% with mediocre gear. It really allows her to later on to run crit damage pieces, so she can just output insane amount of damage. And her 3rd skill, if she crits, I think if she kills an enemy with her 3rd skill, then it resets, so you pretty much just AoE, and you wipe everything in your path. Personally, I used a lot of the cleavers on the CN server, and I found out Grace was just the one that's better for me. I did run Ruri a bit too, but my gear wasn't top end. It was much better for me to run Grace and put the gear on some of the other PvE units instead. This is the green type healer. She got buffed, and we do have the buffed version on JP server. So right now she is the best healer. Until the next event character Cream comes in, she will be taking the throne as the best healer post buff. Before her buff, Morris was better, and Morris is a 4-star. The green unit is a 5-star healer. Morris is a 4-star free healer that you get on your day 2 login. The game just gives it to you, and this is the healer you'll be using for the longest time. She provides AoE dispel, continuous healing, and pretty much any situation you need a tank, you bring Morris as your main tank and just let the rest of your DPS do the work. This one, we call her the Shinigami, or Grim Reaper. She is, in my opinion, a step down of White Fox Hokuto. A lot of people prefer her over the White Fox, but I think damage-wise, Hokuto, because her skill got fixed on the CN server actually in one of the earlier patches, and that really seriously boosted her attack by a huge amount because of the skill multiplier. I feel like White Fox is just much stronger, and I don't think you can pick this up from the infinite reroll. So yeah, Onto the B tier, I'll try to use one sentence to summarize them. This is a good PvP unit. Again, it's more for later investment. You don't have to worry about that now. This is a 4-star PvP fire unit for tanky comps, going to provide action bar boost for your teammates when she gets hit. Again, later on you can think about her, but initially don't worry too much. This is a green 4-star unit that allows you to solo a lot of content when you have end game gear. She can literally solo pretty much a lot of stuff by herself just because she has life steal built in, so super strong. Timmy is a 3-star fire unit that grants action boost to your team, and because she has insane base speed, in a lot of PvP you'll just see everyone running Timmy, because that means the other 3 units that you have will go next. Quinn was a free unit that everyone received on CN server, and 14 days check-in, I think that was the reward, but we don't have it here on JP. She's alright. She gives in a team-wide attack and speed up boost. Again, more PvP focused, so I wouldn't worry too much about her if you don't have her. Ghost got a pretty significant buff on the CN server. I forgot to remember what it was, but that pushed her to kind of the top tier of PvE. So I did manage to pull her, so maybe I'll move her to A if I double check and she is the post buff version. But essentially she has huge multipliers and disabled skills. Decent in PvP as well. The other 2 cleavers in B tier are Shinobu, which you'll get for free, and 04, which again you'll get for free as well. So if you don't manage to get Grace or Ruri and you need a cleaver, a fodder farmer, you can use either. So Shinobu is free from the if you go to your where is it? It's here, yeah. You unlock from this mission. As soon as you do a temple, you'll unlock her, so you can rock Shinobu if you want. Water type, more gear dependent than Grace, but I think, yeah, to each their own. I started with Shinobu on the CN server, but I never looked back after making the switch to Grace. And 04 is a fire type cleaver you get for free at the end of chapter 1. Again, built in skills that allows you to really clear mobs and help you farm EXP and for fodders, but I still like Grace. I like her kit better. Onto the C tier. So Lydia is a very good free unit again for PvP. Super tanky, has counter, but very RNG dependent. You exchange her once you unlock guild houses. So once you join guild, you get guild currency. You can exchange 1/4 of her unit every week, I think, and then yeah, you can exchange her 5 copies and get her max ranked. Nino, the base character you're given, is decent. I've seen people use her in bosses and stories, but you've got a lot of options that are just better, so yeah. And the rest I've used to some extent in terms of success. This is a defense breaker. This I totally forgot. I think in PvP this is a semi-tank. Hokuto needs a buff, and this one's really bad. But yeah, those are the units that I've ranked. There are some that are not included, that currently are either not released or I don't think they're significantly relevant at the moment. I'll keep updating my channel with Artery Gear. I think it's one of the better games to play on side. If you want to main it, you can as well, but the quality of life improvements the game has is definitely good. So yeah, I'll keep a link of the tier list in the description as well, so you can access that. Let me know what questions you have. Join the Discord, and I hope to see you there.